Okay, back again, doing problems. Remember, doing problems is boring, but it will teach you how to do these things. Minus 7, 4x plus 3. No, I did number 72. Oh, sorry. Number 73. So it is 8n squared minus 3n minus 5 plus 4n squared. Now, okay, now they're being all tricky here. All right, since there's nothing here, this looks like all the other problems we've been doing, right? Except there's no number here. They've always put a number right here, and they put a number right here. When there is no number, you assume 1. And 1 multiplied by anything is whatever you're multiplying it by. So you transfer this entire thing here. This entire thing you transfer below. So it becomes 8n squared minus 3n. Right? Here you have a minus. You have to assume if there is no number that is a 1. So it becomes minus 1. This minus 1 you multiply because here there was a 1, there was no minus. Here, since there's a minus, it's just going to change the signs here. So instead of being 5, it's going to be minus 5. Instead of being positive 4n squared, it's going to be negative 4n squared. And then you combine like terms. So you have an n squared here, and you have an n squared here. You can combine those buggers. All right, so 8n squared, or 8 noses squared, minus 4 noses squared. You only have 4 noses squared left. And then here you have minus 3 noses, minus 5. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. So now we're moving on to number 74. 7x squared minus 3 minus 5x squared plus 6x. They did the same thing. If you look carefully, they did the same thing. Here, if there's nothing, absolutely nothing here, you have to assume a 1. So let's just put this here like that. And here they put a minus the buggers right here, so you have to assume minus 1. This box. We're doing the exact same thing. So 1 times anything is whatever you're multiplying by. So 1 times 7x squared, 7x squared. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. You just brought that whole equation down, basically. Here, of course, with a negative 1, so 5x becomes negative 5x squared. Sorry, there's a square here. And plus 6x becomes minus 6x. Any like terms here? Yes, I think I see x squares here. So let's 7x minus 5x is 2x squared minus 6x minus 3. Is that the answer? Where am I? Oh yeah, I'm up there. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a good answer. That is the good answer. 75 now. 5p minus 6 plus 1 minus p. All right. Another tricky thing here. Now we're going to do our separation right here. We're going to do another separation right here. Now, when there is nothing to the left of the bracket, there is nothing to multiply. It's just 1, right? And so it's 5p minus 6. Here, when there's a plus sign, but there's nothing here, you have to assume a 1, which is the same thing as here. It's a positive 1 multiplied by anything is whatever that thing is. So it becomes plus 1, right? Because here's a plus 1 minus p. Similar terms, yes. 5 potatoes minus a potato is 4 potatoes. Minus 6 plus 1 equals minus 5. 4p minus 5, that's the answer. Number 76. 76. So 3x squared minus x minus 7 minus 8x. I really like this book because they have a lot of problems. And you only learn by doing problems, and when you're stuck, by looking at the solutions. that I'm giving to you right now. That's the best way to learn math. There's no other good way to do it. Only the smart people, like the top 10% of your class, will learn it the way the teacher is teaching it. The rest of us will learn it this way, doing problems and problems and problems. So once again, let's take a look at this. Very simply put, this is one, this is the other. When there is nothing to the left of the brackets, we're assuming a 1. Basically, you don't disturb what's inside the brackets. You just rewrite it without the brackets. 3x squared minus x. Here you see a little sneaky minus sign right here, so you multiply whatever is in the brackets by minus 1. Minus 1 times 7 is minus 7. Minus 1 times minus 8 is positive 8x. Combine like terms. Are there any other x squares here? Nope. 3x squared. Are there any other x's here? Yes, there is. Minus x plus 8x equals plus 7x. And then the minus 7, you just bring it down. And is that the right answer? I think it is. It is. Number 77 now. 2 minus 4v squared plus 3v squared plus 2v. All right. Let's break it up. Pretty soon you guys are going to be awesome enough you won't have to break it up all the time, but now I'm just showing you because that's the way, that's good teaching. Okie dokie. So when there is nothing to the left of the brackets, we assume it's a 1, and a 1 does not change anything inside the brackets. All you have to do is remove the brackets. So it's basically 1 times 2 and 1 times negative 4v. So it's 2 minus 4v squared, right? Here, when there's a plus sign and no number, we assume it's a positive 1, which is the same thing as here. So we're just going to write down whatever is in the brackets. Plus 3v squared plus 2v. And now we combine like terms. We have 2 violins here. Are there any other 2 violins or any other violins? Yes, they're violins squared, but that's not the same thing. So there's no like terms. This guy is alone. There's no other real numbers, so this guy's alone. And these 2 are violin squared and violin squared. We can add or subtract these ones. Minus 4 plus 3 equals minus violin squared. Bring this down, 2 minus violin squared plus 2v. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Sometimes the book will rewrite this. They're going to put minus v squared plus 2v plus 2. It's the same thing. The exact same thing. 78 now. 78 is 2b minus 8 plus b minus 7b squared. All right, so I think we know what's going on. Here you're multiplying by 1. Here you're multiplying by 1. So really just write the whole thing down as if there was no brackets. 2b minus 8 plus b minus 7b squared. So we'll put the minus 7b here, right? Minus 7b. We're going to put it right there. We have 2 b's here. So we have 2b plus b equals 3b. And then we have the minus 8 that we'll just add at the end. Let's take a look at it. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Moving along to 79. I think you guys are getting the hang of this. 4 minus 2k squared plus 8 minus 2k squared. All right. So once again, same thing. You don't have to do any distributive property, because this is all, they're all little positive ones here. You're multiplying these brackets by a little positive 1. There's nothing there. So what you do is you just write down what's in the brackets. 4 minus 2k squared, here you have to imagine a little plus sign, plus 8 minus 2k squared. Are there any like terms? Yes, these buggers are like terms and these ones are like terms, right? Because here there's just regular old numbers. And here there's k, which you can stand for kangaroo squared. So 4 plus 8 equals 12. Minus 2 kangaroo squared minus 2 kangaroo squared is minus 4 kangaroo squared. And is that the right answer? Yes, it is. Number 80 now. Moving along top speed. 7a squared plus 7a minus 6a squared plus 4a. All right. Here, we're multiplying by 1. Here, with this minus sign, we're multiplying everything by minus 1. So number 1 is 7a squared plus 7a. Then we have minus 1 times plus 6a is minus 6a squared. Minus 1 times plus 4a is minus 4a. Combining like terms, here with apples, you can say the a stands for apples or whatever. So 7a minus 4a equals 3a, 3 apples, right? 7 apples minus 4 apples equals 3 apples. And here apples squared, 7 apples squared minus 6 apples squared equals apples squared, just 1. You don't put the 1 here. And a squared plus 3a? Yes, that is the answer. That's the answer. Muy macho, I like it. All right, 81. X squared minus 8 plus 2x squared minus 7. That's awesome. All right, so when there's nothing here, and when there's a plus, you have to assume a 1, which means there's nothing here. You just rewrite everything. X squared minus 8 plus 2x squared minus 7. Remember, this plus here, don't get confused. This plus just says this is multiplied by plus 1. That means the contents of these brackets remain unchanged. So, any regular old numbers? Yes, 8 and 7. Negative 8 and negative 7. So, negative 8 plus negative 7 equals negative 15. X squared plus 2x squared equals 3x squared. Is that the answer? Yes, it is. Last problem, guys. Last problem. 3 minus 7n squared plus 6n squared plus 3. Once again, nothing to the left of the brackets, so you just copy down these numbers. 3 minus 7n squared plus 6n squared plus 3, right? Everything is just being transferred down. Numbers, yes, 3 and 3 is 6. N squared, noses squared, or whatever you want to say that starts with n, minus 7 noses squared plus 6 noses squared equals minus nose squared. Is that the answer? Yes, it is. Okay, so that is it for the pre-algebra. Next class, the real algebra starts. It's going to be incredibly difficult. You're going to rip your hair out, but if you work hard at it, I guarantee you can pass this class and get a half-assed job when you graduate and be able to go to maybe a technical school, and these skills will be useful, I promise you.